Hi, my name's Adam Fuller. I am the Sport Development Manager and School Games Organiser at Ford Valley School and the Art Just School Sport Partnership working in Sheffield. I'd just like to welcome you all to this sort of short briefing around e-learning for PE, school sport and physical activity that we put together for our schools, the network, just to sort of summarise all the things that are out there and available to you guys, to be able to put together some e-learning packs for your pupils and your students online. My contact details are there, so that if you want me after you've heard some of the comments that we make or some of the information you want a little bit more on, and then obviously feel free to get in contact with us, and I will happily chat to you as much as possible about all the different opportunities and what your school's doing and what we're doing to help sort of pupils at home and help pupils move more at this time. Um, just a little bit about our current situation. So obviously on the picture on the left shows what we would be doing at the minute. So what we would have been doing is preparing everything for summer term. We would have been getting all the competitions ready, delivering lots of summer sports and activities, especially in the sunshine that's seems to have arrived in the last few weeks after 5 months of rain. Um, my role is to support the development of PE school sport and physical activity across schools in Sheffield. We work with around 50 schools to support teachers, teaching staff and pupils to be able to get more active through PE school sport and physical activity. I'm going to cover a range of tools that can help you throughout this session. Obviously, I just want to say that nothing in this session is an expectation, and it's all just up to you guys to use what you want to be able to pull together some useful learning for your pupils at home during this time. We obviously appreciate everyone's got different capacities, subject knowledge, school pressures, whether you're in school at the minute or not, supporting those key worker children, or whether you're at home dealing with your own sort of children or own issues around isolation as well. So appreciative that everyone's in a different situation. Picture on the right is my current situation. Two young children, so doing a lot of homeschooling from the desk throughout the day, but then also trying to do a little bit of work and support schools in our area as well to become more active, and hopefully this helps a little bit towards that. The current challenge, I guess, is everybody staying healthy and well. So making sure that everybody across the network and across your schools is staying healthy as much as possible, and keeping well, and obviously looking after your families and things at the time. We understand that you've got pupils in school. Some have got varied interest in sport and physical activity, in PE as well. Got varied abilities or disabilities. Ability levels of pupils, different age ranges being in school. So if you are in school, and obviously we've got the issue around social distancing as well, to think about if you are delivering any activities in school. We were quickly told at schools to set up e-learning activities on a very short notice. So there's some fantastic work that's happened across the whole network in terms of teaching and pulling things together to be able to get things out there. Lots of schools are using different varying methods of e-learning, lots of different platforms, etc., really quickly. So we've all had to sort of adapt very quickly on that. There's been a lot of things created already, not just in PE, school sport and physical activity, but right across the board for all subject areas. There's lots of things happening. There's lots of free initiatives. There's lots of different things going on. So it is quite tough to keep sort of an umbrella over all that and understand what's out there and what's available to you as a school, and what to use and what might be best for your pupils and things. We also understand keeping PE school sport physical activity as a priority at the minute is quite tough when there's lots and lots of different subjects, like we say, being shared, and different resources and things, and lots of home learning. Obviously, I know as a parent, there's a lot coming out to our children from school in every different topic area and subject area. So to keep PE school sport and physical activity as a priority area as a subject lead might be quite difficult at this moment in time. So hopefully we're going to be able to share some tools that can help you do that as well. Lots of pupils don't have access to e-learning opportunities at home, depending on where they live or what area they live in of your local area. So lots of you will be providing hard copies and packs and things like that that can go out to pupils across our local school. So hopefully there'll be a few different examples of what you can use for that as well. But that is obviously a big concern, that some pupils are getting some aspect of learning that others aren't. So it's about keeping a consistent message across the board. And then there's all the different online platforms and approaches. And some of you like me, might have had to get to grips with a few different aspects of IT in the last few weeks to understand how that works and be able to use it to the best of your ability, and obviously to support the pupils learning at school as well. So what I wanted to say was around keeping PE, school sport and physical activity at the heart of everything that you're doing, but also understanding that they are very different. So it's just a little recap, understanding that there are different areas which, as a subject lead within a school, you will be looking at, or you could be looking at with regards to this. So there is the PE aspect and making sure that education and learning happens throughout. And there's the physical activity aspect, so making sure that kids are moving more, and it's really, really important that those two are embedded. So we have the learning as well as just the activity as well. And then the sport as well, and using sport as a tool to get those people moving and get children and young people active, as well as families. And across the board, across all of them, it's physical literacy, and the pupils being able to develop physical literacy and being able to understand movement and be able to move effectively to embed all those three above. So just a little recap and just a reminder to us to just keep a focus on everything and every one of those activities as we move forward. Just a reminder for those schools that we work with, but obviously I know we kind of do a lot on this as throughout the school year, but that the Chief Medical Officer guidelines for children and young people is to get 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity every day, be that in a range of different methods. My question is, do we do this? Does everybody in school understand this? Do teachers understand this? And we spend a lot of time obviously trying to get this message across to head teachers and to senior leaders in school, to adapt their school day to make sure that we get those 60 minutes of physical activity in. But do parents know this as well? So maybe some education needs to happen, or some form of information needs to go out to parents around the 60-minute targets, and ensuring that children and young people, whilst they're at home, are still getting those 60 minutes of physical activity every day. Whether that be in a range of different things, as well as the taught subject of PE as well. Just a bit of information for schools who might or might not know. School games organisers across the country, so there's over 450 school games organisers. I'm just one of them. Have been redeployed in our role. So instead of delivering competitions and events and supporting in school, obviously that's not possible at the minute. So on the left, there's an example there of just one of the things that we've been asked to do to support schools with a range of different activities and a range of different opportunities to keep the children physically active where possible. We are using the hashtag #StayInWorkout from Sport England to ensure that messaging is consistent. So if you do look for that online, you'll be able to see lots and lots of different opportunities and lots of different things that can keep you busy and keep you active. We have been sort of highly commended by the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport across England, being able to get ourselves sorted out very quickly and get a lot of information out to schools and a lot of information out to parents in a very short space of time. There has been some really good work going on across the network, and obviously us working in Sheffield, the partnerships with school games organisers are all working really closely together to make sure that messaging is consistent and keeps coming out to you guys, to keep you as informed as possible, but also to help you in your roles wherever you may be situated at this moment in time. Just an example of a few things that you might want to use on our website, thearchers.org.uk. We have a bank of resources on there that we've pulled from various different partners online on social media that are fantastic and that you could use in terms of your hard copy resources to go out to school. So that there are some good things on there, and we're constantly adding to that. And so if you know of anything that we don't know about that's been really useful for your school, and please do share that with us, and we'll put that online for all the other schools to be able to access and be able to look at. Really important that obviously at this time we are sharing good practice and we're sharing what we find Lots and lots of organisations have offered and opened up their products or their portals or their systems for free at the minute, which is fantastic. So obviously use this time as much as you can to have a look through and see what you can find that would be useful for you right across your school, not just now, but for when we go back into school as well, moving forward. So just take a couple of minutes, I guess, at this moment in time, I'd say, to reflect on what your current offer is for your pupils at your school. What are you offering in terms of e-learning for your pupils at the minute? What have you been able to pull together in such a short space of time? And I would ask if it falls under one of the following categories, and sort of you can analyse where it falls under what you've offered so far. Is it physical activity? Is it movement? And bearing in mind, we have suggested that movement is really important at this moment in time. It's really important to stay active and stay healthy. And I think there's lots of families doing probably more activity than they might have done previously. Is it physical education? So is it actual teaching of skills, whether those be physical skills, thinking skills, creative skills? Is it PE? So is it teaching through the physical domain? Is it active learning? So are we using physical activity to teach other subject areas? Is it fundamental movement skills, especially for those with younger pupils, so early years pupils? Are we teaching those fundamental movement skills? Is it sport specific? So are we covering individual sports and trying to upskill pupils on that, or are they choosing their own sports to go down and honing those skills for those particular sports? Or is it component to fitness, and is it fitness-based activities? And do pupils understand what fitness means, I guess, is the question there, in terms of the different levels of fitness and different components of fitness and what they should be able to deliver and should be able to undertake. So the question to you guys on that is just where you think you sit, and not saying that one's right and one's wrong, but just thinking obviously as a subject lead for PE, school sport and physical activity, what are you doing? Are you doing a range of all those things, or is it just one particular thing? We're going to go through just a few different options for each of those areas, or for quite a few of those areas, just to be able to pull you some examples together that might work for your school. So there are more than this. There's plenty more than this out there, and this is just a few that we found quite useful and that we've been promoting through our weekly timetable. So in terms of physical activity and fitness, we're looking at PE with Joe. So obviously we've said that Joe Wicks has got lots of great physical activity HIIT workout sessions for children and young people every single day, Monday to Friday, online. So are you using those? But bearing in mind, it is called PE with Joe, but it is fitness based, and it is physical activity and fitness through the HIIT workout. In terms of fitness, a great sort of resource that we've used is Fitness Blender, which is a hub of all the videos on YouTube, of videos across the internet, under different categories that you could use to be able to promote to your pupils. A website called Swerkit has got a great platform where you can piece together online resources, different aspects of a HIIT workout, and you or the children can put together their own exercise workout routines. PE with Coach Wood is a good one that we found on YouTube that looked at teaching HIIT workouts and fitness sessions through stories, and so they've got every single video that's on there has got a different theme to it and follows a different story. So we had being a chef in Italy the other day, and then we saw one around being around karate, and so there's different things on there for you to have a look at. Get Kids Moving on YouTube, which has got lots of different ones. We were using one, my little boy, the other day around Avengers and Captain America, doing a fitness workout to try and join the Avengers Academy. So Get Kids Moving is a really good one on there. I think they've got Star Wars and Harry Potter and things as well on there, so really useful. There is other ones like Firefighter Kids. We did today while we were undertaking a firefighter themed topic day. So there's lots of different versions and lots of different things for workout and fitness activities out there for your pupils if that's what you want to teach across the board. In terms of dance and movement to music, there's again a range of different options, and there'll be more than this out there, which you might have accessed. But iMoves, we've got the iMovement. iMoves is a great resource that a lot of our schools use, and they've got the iMovement at the minute, which is free to access, which lots of dance routines online, which is obviously copying the moves and the videos that are on screen. Ota Mabuse from Strictly Come Dancing is doing different daily dance routines, and she's done some fantastic ones based around Disney characters or Disney films, etc. Some of our teachers we've seen online have been having a go at those as well. Just Dance has got an app, but also it's got some free YouTube videos out there, so those are available to look at. This Girl Can campaign's got some Disney ones based around Disney films. Go Noodles out there, and that's a resource that I know a lot of our schools use for active breaks and active classes throughout the day as well, when we are back in school. So Go Noodle might be a good one for you guys to have a look at as well in terms of dance and movement. Just in terms of physical activity and general physical activity, there is no issue with promoting just a walk or just getting out of your house for a walk. Obviously, we are promoting social distancing at the minute, but we are at the minute able to go out and get active and go on a walk and do things outside the house and get that activity in as a family throughout the day. So there's just a few different opportunities here that I thought I'd bring to your attention that you could use for that. So there's the Ready Set Ride from British Cycling, which is obviously teaching children and young people how to ride a bike. There's some activities on there that don't even need a bike. So for those really younger ones that might not have access to a bike or a balance bike, then there's some activities on there. So I'd recommend having a go at that. We've been promoting Wheelie Wednesday, and I've been promoting that resource out on a Wednesday to our schools. There is gamifying going on a walk, and so there's an app called The Walk, which is gamifying that. There's the Pokemon Go app, that seems to have been a little bit of a phase, but people will be using that while they're going on their walks, as well as the Harry Potter Wizards Unite app. So that's a really good one as well. The homework for the outdoors there that you can see is just an example of something that one of our local providers, Thornbridge Outdoors, provided to us to send to schools. It's around just a scavenger hunt and finding things while you're out on your walk. So again, for those hard copy packs going out to pupils, if you are promoting just generally getting out and going on a walk, could you set a scavenger hunt so that they can find different things to promote the outdoor learning side of things? There's an app there called AR Runner, which is great in terms of gamifying movement in a certain area. Again, I think you have to have a certain type of device to be able to access some of these. So just make sure that you have a look at them before promoting them to all your pupils, etc. There's an example of an app there called Plant Snap, which could promote outdoor learning with pupils around going and finding plants and taking pictures of plants outside that they find, and sort of uploading them and finding out what those plants are, etc. And then there is the sort of GPS tracker apps that are out there, such as Strava, etc. Just to name one, there's lots of others, but around mapping your runs or mapping your walks, and to calculate distances that you've gone, etc. So you could be using some of them. Then there's a website called Active Globe, which is really good, and schools can sign up to that and sort of get their pupils a bit of a login, and to be able to set themselves targets to walk to certain distances, etc. So that's a really good one as well, and schools can sign up for these things for that free at the minute, and sort of get access for their pupils to set themselves some targets and things while they're going out on their general walks. But like I say, there's no sort of issue with schools promoting general physical activity and parents going out on a walk, going out on a bike ride and things, obviously, as long as we are following recent guidance. Now could be a fantastic time to really push the message of active learning and physically active learning across subjects at your school. So how are you working with other subject leads to be able to promote being active through maths and English, or through other subjects in your school day that you're promoting at home? There's a couple of examples there of my little boy on the right hand side, and we've been doing some phonics, so we're doing some spellings just for a letters grid on the street, using some chalk, and then we got some cones, and we were doing a bit of a letter finding thing in terms of spelling different words using cones in our living room. So just a few examples of some easy different tasks that we could challenge through spelling just there, and phonics. But there's a lot of resources out there to be able to support you. Teach Active have just opened a number of their resources up to schools to be able to access, as well as CPD that we'll talk about later for staff. Burn to Learn have got a YouTube website, and they've got some great examples again around learning. Their resources are fantastic anyway in terms of school, just promoting games that you can use in any subject area to get some physical activity in. Quest R have got QR codes, so if families have got the opportunity to be able to scan QR codes on devices, etc. In science, Activate has again literacy numeracy, active games and different challenges that you can use. And there's a BBC Super Movers app on there. And like I said, there is quite a lot out there in terms of being able to support. But now might be a great chance for you to have a conversation with your subject leads for those other subjects and say, look, how can we get some active learning in via your subject whilst we're teaching at home, instead of pupils just sat for hours doing sheets and sheets and sheets of activities and writing and reading and maths on a sheet. How can we teach that in a little bit of a different way whilst we're out, and whilst we've got that opportunity to do so? There's some other things, some other opportunities. So Real PE and Real Play have got some activity cards are out there through their Real Play resource that they're opening. So schools need to get in contact with Creative Development if you want to access those. That could support some sort of play movement and opportunities for learning through play via their resource. And UK Active and Nike have developed the Move Crew, which seems like a really good resource, endorsed by athletes, where they'll be releasing a new theme of the week and daily activities throughout the week linked to that theme, using some athletes. So this week they had Dino Smith on, and they've got move missions every day to be able to do different things linked in with that weekly theme. So that's just another really good opportunity for you guys as sort of school leads to be able to tap into something there from UK Active as well. In terms of competition and personal best, there's lots and lots of examples available online, challenges and nominations, and we've been nominated for a few things and a few physical challenges where people have been running or walking or cycling certain distances and then nominating somebody else to do so. How could you use that, I guess, as a school in terms of doing that? Could one child nominate another? Could a teacher nominate another? Could a class nominate another class to be able to do some activities? How can you use that as a bit of a challenge within your school? And there's lots of different things online to be able to do that. But just maybe have a think about how you can do that. And again, it's beating their personal best scores at the different challenges. So how are we really promoting that personal best aspect to it? One thing that we've seen on a lot of on Instagram is the Living Room Cup, which is again promoted by Nike. There's a lot of athletes doing challenges which you can copy and post your videos using the hashtag and things. See if you can beat the scores of Cristiano Ronaldo, say. So that's quite good for engaging pupils when there's athletes and there's famous people associated with those sort of initiatives. It's really good to engage and maybe get some challenge going against your teachers and then against the pupils as well. So yeah, just have a think, I guess, about competition and how we can embed competition, because it's a really important aspect of your PE school sport and physical activity offer to pupils. So how can you do that across your subject? Another opportunity for competition that's sort of just come out this week is the School Games Active Championships, linking with Top Yard app. And so it's primary and secondary age children can sign up and you can sign up as a teacher as well, to the Top Yard app, and use the invite code 23880, and you'll be able to sort of link in with the School Games Active Championships. And I think they're promoting different challenges a couple of times a week. The idea is that pupils film doing the challenges, film themselves, or film the families film doing challenges together, and they get their scores and rank their scores, record them, and see if they can then beat them again moving forward. So that could be a real good one for schools to be able to get some competition in and some personal bests moving forward as well. And so just something there for you to have a think about regarding competition and how you're getting competition into your offer for your pupils. Lots of different sports across the country have been engaging in different things and trying to get their content out there as quickly as possible for us to engage with, but for schools to engage with and parents as well. Most sports have launched some form of e-learning activity or challenges on social media, on Twitter, etc. But obviously, not all parents have access to that, so it might be worthwhile you just having a look at that as a subject lead, or as a teacher in a school, and just bringing some of that to the attention of parents, but also bringing it to them via printed copies, etc. If you need to. For example, Chance to Shine have got a lot of different challenges set out around cricket. The B Netball programme has just launched some videos around netball, phonetics, athletics. Have launched a number of different things around quite a lot of different videos around athletics-based skills from running, jumping, and throwing that you can do in your garden with sort of equipment at home. So that's a really good resource to have a look at. And if you are looking for some video examples, etc., of things to be doing and challenges to be setting based around athletics, the LTA on their website have got a number of videos around things that people can do in tennis at home. Again, obviously, thinking about equipment that people have got and not got, then there's differentiation in there as well. And then there's things online which have been online previously, such as the racket pack from Badminton England that is out there in terms of being able for you to download some games, some activities to be able to promote badminton and keeping people involved in those different sports as well. Rugby league, so the RFL have launched the hashtag Skill to Play, where every week they're doing a different challenge for rugby league players to be able to do some skill development at home through their individual sport. Hockey are using the hashtag Hockey at Home. Quite a lot of different clubs and things through hockey have got things out there on social media for people to have a go at if they're interested in doing hockey. And then the FA have got obviously the Super Kicks app, which would be great to promote to parents around different things that kids can be doing at home. And then they've got the hashtag football staying home, so they could. There's some great examples on there of recreating goals from the past and lots of different things that are available that could be really useful for your pupils or for families to get engaged with. And then I guess just wanted to highlight again to our schools what the Sheffield approach was to the physical activity element of it. So we realised quite quickly that there was tons coming out and tons available online for you to do. And to be honest, we were quite overwhelmed with how much there were that was available. So what we did was we decided to put it into a bit of a timetable. Now, obviously, you don't have to follow this timetable. You can change it to suit whatever you want. But something that we did was just showcase the different variations and different offers, different opportunities for people, and make it easy for you guys if you wanted just to send this out to parents to keep them active at home whilst they were, however long this goes on for, just to get that initial physical activity embedded in there. Now we're on to talking about physical education as a subject, and so obviously we've talked about getting kids moving and getting kids active and trying to ensure that 60 minutes of physical activity every day for those pupils moving forward, and obviously you as a subject lead and schools across the country can support as much as possible with that. So it's really important that aspect takes place. However, what we don't want to happen is sort of for PE as a curriculum area to get devalued. And so the question again is, what are the outcomes for your curriculum? So we've been working with a lot of our schools on outcomes for PE, and what you want to get out, what's your intent for your subject area, and what you wanting to get out of it, and are you currently getting that out via your e-learning or distance learning opportunities. And so the question there is, are your outcomes coming out, and do they need to be out a little bit more? So they need to be a bit more explicit in what we're doing here as a subject area, so that when we go back, PE is not devalued as a subject. Also, we've embedded some of the learning for those pupils, so that when we do go back, whenever that may be, into school full time, and we're back teaching lessons to 30 to 35 pupils, we're not in a position where we're having to start from scratch again. So how can we use this time to really embed PE and some learning as a subject area for when we return to school? So just a couple of things that we've sort of thought about and thought to maybe get you to look at would be, are the things that you're offering year group specific? Are they differentiated activities for, are they progressive? So that do they progress from one skill to another to be able to show that progression, and for children and families to be able to progress from one aspect to another within a particular skill? Are we looking at wider skill development? So rather than just the physical skills and the physical activity aspect of it, how are you sort of consolidating the learning of thinking skills, health and well-being, social skills that come out within a PE lesson and that you might use as a learning objectives or a learning outcome within your lessons? Is that involved in any of your work with the online PE stuff that you're looking at? Is it inclusive? So does it incorporate all of your pupils? Obviously, we're looking at differentiating acts for different children. You know your children. Are they going to be able to undertake the activities that you're setting them? And is it inclusive for everybody to take part in? Do you cover a range of topics and a breadth of study? So if you're thinking about the curriculum in which we offer our pupils across every academic year, do you cover a range of those topics within your offer? Or are you specific in terms of, we're going to focus on this activity for a number of weeks, etc.? And what's the learning outcome? So what are you hoping to achieve by setting this e-learning? I think as we move forward, we don't know how long this sort of situation is going to go on for. I think this might come out a little bit more in terms of, we need to be getting those learning outcomes set for these pupils and really sort of getting feedback as to whether that's happened or not. Just a reminder of the different topics and areas which you might include from the national curriculum. So we're looking at outdoor learning, outdoor adventurous activities, understanding the outdoors. So what are you setting? Are you setting anything around that? Dance and movement to music, but not just dances in copying a routine, but how are you looking at dance and composing dance routines, etc., etc. Gymnastics and movement and the understanding of your body. So obviously within a safe environment and sort of safely, how are we sort of incorporating gymnastics and movement and understanding of your body within our program of activity? We're looking at games. So it might be easier to focus on certain games than other games. So for example, target games and net wall games might be easier against the wall or with a brother or sister or with a parent, as opposed to an invasion game, which are more often than not team games, which need sort of bigger numbers. That might be where we focus more on the skill development than the actual the game itself, working in big groups, etc. And obviously striking and fielding, again, what skills are we focusing on there? Athletics and individual physical skills. So what are we looking at in athletics, and is it linked to the athletic block of work that we might have done on those movements for those skills, fundamental movement skills at a younger age, moving to athletic as we progress through the key stages. Health and active lifestyles. How are we promoting and learning, allowing the pupils to learn around a healthy and active lifestyle? Where's that learning coming from? We embed that through setting these challenges and this e-learning sort of aspect of it. Something I wanted to bring to your attention was hashtag #ThisIsPE. It's a series of resources that's been developed by Yorkshire Sport Foundation, but also endorsed by AFP, Youth Sport Trust, and active partnerships across the country. There's a series of videos that are showing a number of games that have got a learning outcome or a learning objective set, and there's a number of different games and progressions that you can use within that. It's a really good resource. Again, the videos are not too long for you to be looking at if you want to set those as a key challenge. But again, the questioning I would think is coming back around how are you using those, and then questioning the pupils on what they've learned and how they got on, etc. So rather than just promoting another series of challenges for them to take part in. Equipment, we have had a couple people contact us and ask about equipment. So there's a lot of stuff going around what pupils have or don't have, and how can we be setting work and setting challenges and setting series of lessons when we're not sure what equipment people have. So obviously there's various different things that we need to be thinking about there in terms of what are alternatives that we can find in the home that we can use. How can we just scrunch pieces of paper and use them as balls, or an example there of a skipping rope that's made out of plastic bags, homemade hurdles, and a favourite of mine, which has become a favourite, and I never realised that it would do over the last few weeks, would be chalk. We've been chalking loads of lines and targets on the floor and on the walls, and with it being sunny, we've been able to get out on the street and chalk different things for us to be engaging with in our PE lessons. So a really useful tool. But again, what's the equipment that we need and that we require to do those things, and what could they use as alternatives? I've put there just they make their own equipment as part of a PE project, so as part of a wider learning series of work, so over a number of weeks, etc. Going on to units of work, so as I say, we don't know how long at the minute we're going to be in this situation for. So would it be beneficial, I guess, for schools and for teachers to set PE learning for a period of weeks? So obviously, got to be very considerate of the situation that parents find themselves in at home, with loads and loads of resources and loads of things getting thrown their way with regards to learning right across the curriculum. But could we integrate some units of work across PE for a number of weeks, say 4, 5, 6 weeks, where we give a bit of a project to children where they look at PE. So an introduction to a skill or an introduction to a certain aspect of PE. They do some research on that. They do some skill development. They take part in those skills. They do the learning, understand how to apply that learning and get better, improve, get self-reflection. They could do some peer reflection with a partner in their class, or with even someone in their family. And then how are you assessing and giving feedback on that as well? The whole as a unit of work for PE that might go over a number of weeks. As I say, it might not. We're not expecting that. I wouldn't expect that would be every week setting a different project in PE for pupils. But could that sort of add some real learning for the pupils across a number of weeks? Again, with regards to learning, from some online CPD that we've been doing and things, we've found out quite a lot around e-learning, and the main sort of thing to be focusing on here is around the sort of synchronous or asynchronous learning. And so whether synchronous being everybody's getting taught together. I've seen on Twitter a few comments going around whether people are teaching full PE lessons on Zoom or on other platforms to all their pupils at once, and how daunting that may seem, and what would they teach, etc., to everybody behind the screen. So is it synchronous where we are all together, or is it asynchronous which is what a lot of the stuff out there is, where at the minute which we've seen is where we're setting work for people to do, or setting challenges, etc. How could you use the synchronous stuff more effectively? So maybe not maybe not doing an online PE session where you're doing the activities during the Zoom meeting, but you're using that time to check in with the pupils, to see how they're getting on with their learning, to see what they've been doing in terms of keeping their physical activity levels up. What have they learned about the topic that you've set them, and consolidate that learning. Use that time for questioning as opposed to using that time to actually do the doing of the activity. But I think the synchronous learning to pupils is really useful, and I've seen it myself with my little boy speaking to his one-to-one teacher, one-to-one teaching assistant, around how excited he's been to show them what he's been learning, and sort of really can't wait for the next call to be able to showcase that learning to the teachers at school. And so I've seen firsthand how important and how that connection can really work. So how can we use the synchronous stuff where we're all together, and also how can we use the asynchronous stuff where we're not together, and we are setting work aside from the we're having, so I say, once every fortnight, etc., with our pupils. Some of you might be doing that, some of you might not be doing that. Obviously, if you're covering a lot of classes and a lot of kids, it's going to be more difficult for you to speak to 600 pupils, as opposed to if you've got your class of 30, you might be speaking to them or regarding other subjects anyway. So that will change depending on your situation, but I just think it's really useful to think about when you're planning online learning, just how will that look as a whole topic, as a whole unit, and where are you going to dip in and dip out of that to support your pupils. Evidence of learning is interesting. Again, a lot of conversation flying around on social media around what evidence are we collating from pupils doing any PE. How do we know that they're doing it? How do we know that they're engaging with it? If they're not posting on social media, or our school's not got a social media account, etc. So a question for you, I guess, as PE leads is how could you do it, and how could you observe them and assess them and give them feedback? They do video posts, or could they send you an example video of them taking a skill for you to give them some feedback, or for groups of pupils to give each other feedback? What's the written feedback? So is there any written feedback across the board that you could get on a piece of work, or any presentations that they could come up with? And there's a couple of tools coming up in a little while that I think that's coming up, that will maybe help with that. But how could you use what you're already doing at school to be able to do those presentations, etc.? Yeah, those tools we just pulled a couple up. So Padlet, a few schools using Padlet for bulletins, for class bulletins, etc. And Flipgrid to post videos to each other within their class around what they're doing. And so could you use those sort of programs to be able to do some learning and provide feedback to your pupils, and those pupils provide feedback to each other, etc. And Google Docs and Google Sheets, where numerous people can obviously edit documents at once. So how are you using that across the board to be able to embed some learning? I think people were talking about distances travelled, that they were going to look to put it on a sheet and have some teams and things like that, where they could all input how many steps they'd done this week, or how many kilometres they'd walked, and then they were going to have a bit of a class challenge to see how active they'd been. A couple apps there, Huddle Technique and the Slow Pro app will allow you to sort of video and go in slow motion and critique certain skills that you've undertaken, so that they could slow a video down that they've had taken of them, and then look at their technique and write some comments or some feedback around how they could improve or what they thought was really good, etc. So just a few different apps there. The Comic Life app is a comic strip. So could they create a comic strip? But again, I'm thinking at the end of a topic of work where or a unit of work where we've set something for 5 weeks, and then the end sort of piece is for them to create a comic about that skill development that they've learned, and add something in there. Or Animoto is again video editing, so could they create a little video of all the different things that they've been doing in PE over a period of time, or to do with physical over a period of time. So there's lots of different things that they could be using, and some really good apps and things out there. Again, it's going to be whether parents can access these, whether school have got access to these, and sort of obviously what there'll be other things and other programs that school are already working with and already doing a lot of stuff on, in terms of Dojo and lots of different other ones like that might be able to use, and stuff faffing about and figuring about what they can do and how you can use them for PE would be great. I would suggest obviously don't go too far off what you've been doing already in terms of your programs and resources, because school will have a policy, school will have an agreement with a certain program that they'll be using. So just use what you can, I guess. But there's just a few examples there of different things that you promote to your pupils. And some other top tips just that we've picked up from speaking to people and obviously doing online courses and some CPD and things like that. So do your pupils need to see you doing the skills and doing the activities and doing the challenges? I think it's really important that we're not just retweeting what's out there and saying, come on, get on with it. I think pupils would love to see their teachers engaged. And as I say, I've already mentioned about how excited they are to see their teachers, even if it is through a screen. To be able to see you guys doing the activities and or just taking an activity and you redoing exactly what video, but sending that out to your pupils, it has a real big impact. Do they need to see each other? Again, some students will have no siblings and sort of be the only children in their household, so they might not see many other children, and so I think that interaction could be really good, and we could use physical activity and sport as a real good way of physical activity, sport and PE, so it's a real good way of doing that. Fun, so keep it fun. Obviously at this time it's really important just to make sure that we're promoting as much fun activities as we can, but again embedding that learning and what's the breadth of opportunities and the breadth of different things that we can be showcasing at this time to families. Physical activity versus the PE curriculum, that's up to you as a school to be able to come to terms with, and sort of what stuff are you promoting that's physically active and getting those 60 minutes in physical activity a day for every pupil and every child across the country. It's really important. But again, what's the PE curriculum? What's the delivery of the curriculum, and how are we going to do that during this time as well? And finding that balance between the two, but making sure that we are covering both in some aspects. And then how are you engaging parents? I guess a real important thing is around parent engagement, and if they are doing it with the pupils, then they're going to be more likely to get it done and deliver on it. I think now again is a fantastic time for us to showcase to parents how important physical activity is, how important PE is as a subject in school. And I really think that we could use this time as a catalyst to sort of propel us forward in future. So hopefully we can engage parents, and it's up to schools to figure out how we can do that. I mentioned don't go too far off the track what we've already got. So use what you've got at your fingertips as a school and programs that you already use with your classes, etc. How can we use these better to do some promotion of physical activity and skills, and also and PE topics as well. And then a big important one that I put was around embedding learning. So making sure that we're constantly questioning pupils on so what have you been learning, and what does that mean, and how's that going to help you in future? Why are we learning this? And there's all the sorts of questions that you would have come out with in a PE lesson at school. But it's really important to embed that learning so that pupils understand why they're doing it across the board. A couple other things to support you guys as PE coordinators or subject leads, or even if you're just generally just a general subject teacher who's really interested in PE as a subject, and you're not that PE lead yet. Every Thursday evening, 8 till 9, #primary PE share on Twitter. There's a couple of other hashtags there as well, which you might look at on Twitter. There's lots of stuff going around, questions being asked, and lots of answers being given by some really sort of high quality professionals across the globe, not just in our country, but right across the globe at this time, and examples of things that people have been doing in other countries that have gone into lockdown before we did, and lots of different things on Twitter available. A great podcast to listen to is the PE Umbrella. Some fantastic work on there for subject leads. So obviously, if you get a bit of time during this period of time when you can listen to podcasts and things, great to catch up on a few episodes of the PE Umbrella podcast. A couple of Facebook groups, primary PE leaders, primary PE coordinators. There's definitely some good conversation goes on there every day around PE leads asking questions to each other, and some giving answers and things like that, and some other professionals giving answers around what they're doing in their areas or things that they have on offer for schools. And a Healthy Futures online magazine. I'd sign up for that. It's great. The first edition was fantastic in terms of some really good content and some stories for you to be able to read around deep dives and things like that, but also a really good resource in terms of some ideas for you to move forward as well. Some CPD, so if any of you as subject leads or just general teachers want to engage in any CPD whilst you might have the time, you might not have the time if you're like me and have got a 4 and a 6-year-old running around, but if you've got some time to undertake some CPD, there's some really good stuff out there for PE at the minute. So Swim England have got a swimming module for school swimming, and lots of other modules actually as well. That if you are a swimming teacher, or if you are a teacher that goes swimming with your pupils, might be really, really beneficial for you as a school to undertake. Hockey. England Hockey have got a really good resource online in terms of the Quick Sticks programme, and do an online CPD in that. I Coach Cricket is a resource for you to look at for teaching cricket skills and some ideas for games and things. Same with the badminton. We mentioned the racket pack stuff earlier. Download the access to free resources and lesson plans and things on there. Some really good ideas. Inclusive PE. Sainsbury's Inclusive PE module is really good, and it's got an online aspect to it which you can undertake around including children with SEND pupils within your lessons. And so if you've got any concerns about that in your school, if you've got high percentage SEND pupils, and you could do a little bit more around sort of differentiation in your lessons, and have a look at those. AFP have got a fantastic series of webinars out there at the minute, promoting lots of different opportunities for you to look at as a subject lead. And so I would suggest that everyone has a look at the AFP webinars, especially if you are a PE subject lead. As I said, there's some fantastic things on there for you to have a look at. Healthy Futures, who I mentioned before, on the magazine, are launching an online CPD in May. With some accredited courses, I believe, but also some general webinars and things that might be able to help you. And Teach Active have got a webinar out there around the benefits of active learning. So if you want to put them around accessing that webinar, that would be great to look at how we can implement physical activity across other subject areas again moving forward when we go back to school. How can we make sure that we keep this trend going and keep that physical activity movement happening throughout the school day? And again, there's more coming daily, so we'll be sending lots out to our schools that are linking with us around CPD that you can undertake for as long as this is happening. So yeah, I just think there's a good opportunity, if possible, for you to undertake some real development work for your school for when we do get back. Again, my contact details are there if anyone wants to contact me and have a chat about anything, or wants to share any good practice or what they've been doing that we can share with other schools. That would be fantastic. I think final things for me are just to stay safe. Obviously, keep your family safe, and it's nice to see people. So hopefully I can manage to have a bit of a chat with some of our PE subject leads in the next few weeks around what you're doing, because it's always nice to have a catch up, see some friendly faces. enjoy the time that you can as much as you can, and make sure we play some of these games that are there, and make sure we get moving as much as we can as well, as school staff. Keep fighting the fight for PE as a subject across the board, and making sure that we are promoting our subject at this time, to make sure that it doesn't get sidelined as much as possible, especially when we're being told every day that physical activity is important, and it's really important that we don't lose the opportunity to be active, especially for our mental health and things. So keep fighting the fight with whoever you need to regarding PE, school sport and physical activity. Every school is going to be different, so you'll all be in a different position completely in what you're sending out, what you're not sending out, who's left in school, when you're working, if you're not working, etc., etc. So really important for you to just take stock and take all this information and see how it works for you. Well, again, I wouldn't say this is not a to-do list. It's just a list of opportunities and different things that you could do. And again, let us know. Use the hashtag #StayInWorkout so we know exactly what you're doing, and obviously tag us in anything that you're doing. And it'd be great to sort of see the sorts of things that your pupils are getting up to. But other than that, that's it from me. I hope to speak to you all soon. Thanks for listening. Cheers.